The video lesson today is going to be about ASP.NET Core Razor pages. The Razor syntax is part of ASP.NET, and ASP.NET is a server-side programming method to create dynamic interactive web pages. In case of Razor pages, the server-side code is embedded is embedded in the HTML code of the ASP.NET page. So let's create a new project. It is going to be a Razor page project. So .NET new web. I'm going to put it in a separate folder. I mean, the whole project is going to be in a separate folder called Razor Web. So that is going to be the root directory of this project. And I'm going to use framework .NET 6, so version 6. I'm going to use version 6 because that's the long time supported version. So now we have this root directory for our project called Razor Web. So let's change directory. Sorry. And let's create a new folder in the root directory for our pages, for our Razor pages. So make directory pages. Okay, let's change directory, and in this new folder called pages, let's create another folder, shared. Okay, let's go up. Up to the root directory, and we need to create another folder called www.root. So let's change directory, and in this folder we need to create another folder called CSS. So okay, now we can go up to the root directory. Okay, so now we can open this folder in VS Code. First, we should make some changes in the program.cs file. Say yes. This is a template. By the way, it's working just fine already. So if you run this project, let's run this. We just need to wait for a couple of seconds. You see? So it's the Hello World template. Okay, so we need to make some changes. We have this variable called builder, and we are going to add a property called services, and we are going to add the Razor pages method. Okay, we need an if statement here, and let's say app. We have this variable called app because we have declared it already in line 5. Environment, we have this property environment, which may have the isDevelopment method. So in that case, if that condition is true, let's use the HSTS method. Else, no, sorry, not this method, but the use developer exception page method, and else let's use the HSTS method. Now we also have to add some other methods to this web app. So the first one is the use HTTPS redirection method. Use static files. Use routing. And last but not least, map Razor pages. So we should add these methods as well to the application using the dot notation, and here we should say hello. Okay, so now let's create a new file in the pages folder, and this is going to be called viewstart.cshtml. We should use the @ and the curly braces. This is going to indicate that now we are writing some server-side code, and we have this property called layout, which is going to be equal to our layout page called _layout, which is going to be the master page of our web app, which is going to be shared by all the other pages of this web application. So it is no accident that we are going to put it in the shared folder. So in the shared folder we should add a new file called _layout.cshtml. And now let's use this HTML5 template. Okay, we don't need these. And I'm going to use the view data property. Title. And here I'm going to use the render body method. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so now if you go to bootswatch.com, here you can find different CSS libraries, and you can download the library for free. So for example, let's use this one, and we are going to move this file in our CSS folder. Okay, so yeah, so I'm going to move it, and I'm going to rename it to style, because you know this is a style sheet library actually. And here I'm going to, in the head section, I'm going to refer to this library. Okay, like that. And if you click preview, you can have a look at what the elements of the DOM look like if you use this particular CSS library. Okay, so, and you can copy the code blocks. Okay, any of the code blocks. Okay, so for example, let's make the home page. So let's add an index.cs HTML file. We should use the page structure here. Now I'm going to, we have this view data property. So this is going to be our home page. And let's use this code here, this HTML code. Okay. Okay, I'm going to add a new div. In HTML, you use these tags. Most tags have an opening and a closing tag. Okay, and each tag may have an attribute called class. So the value is going to be container, because in Bootstrap you use containers, and in a container you may have rows, and in a row you may have columns. So I'm going to add another div. Class row, and another div, and this is going to be a column small 6, and I'm going to copy all this, actually cut and paste it here. Now let's debug. let's rebuild the project. Okay, no warnings, no errors. So let's run. Let's run this. Okay, so far so good. Okay, let's use an inline style here. Let's use the margin property and let's say 25 pixel. Okay, so far so good. Now let's add some server-side code. For example, let's greet the user. Instead of this warning, let's greet the user. Okay, so let's create a new variable, hour, and we have a structure called datetime. We have the now property and the hour property. Let's create another variable. Let's call this message. Okay, now we should use the if statement. So if the hour is less than or equal to 6 and hour is greater than 12, message should be equal to good morning. Else if hour is less than or equal to 12 and hour is greater than 18, the message variable should be equal to good afternoon. Okay, else if hour is less than or equal to 18 and hour is greater than 22, let's say good evening. And else, let's say you should or you ought to be in bed now. Okay, so and now let's say at message. Okay, let's run the application again. Good evening. Okay, now let's have some server-side code. For example, instead of this, yeah, we don't need these. We only need the paragraph. let's use the ID value, and let's say greet. Okay, now we should use this script tags, because now I'm going to write some JavaScript code. Time is equal to new date. We have this date method. We have this get hours method. And you know, JavaScript has the same C-like syntax as C#, so you can actually copy and paste all this, because we only have to change these lines. Okay, because we have this element which has an ID called greet, so let's use document get element by ID greet, and let's use the inner HTML or inner text field. Now we can copy and paste this. Good afternoon. Good evening. And you ought to be in bed now. Now let's run the code again. Okay. You see, we have good evening, and we also have good evening. Okay, now what if we upload all this to because now we are using this local host. So let's upload it to a server, which is located somewhere in the United States. Okay. So we should publish the project. And simply we're going to upload it to our server, which is located in the States, somewhere in the States. We don't know exactly, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so now let's see. So good morning, the server side. This is the service. This is the the HTML output of this server side code. It says good morning, and this is the output of the client-side code, because JavaScript is client-side, and it says good evening. It is because of the time difference, which is about, because in New York it's 6 hours earlier than in Hungary. Okay, so thank you for watching.